song.
Hello, I'm Jenna Mondrina, and this is your Channel 5 News at 6 o'clock. Tonight we're going to discuss the greatest band in the world.
The Wiggles.
I sit in the back of the book and I did everything the back says because I
Greatest what?
Band.
Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Never heard of them. What? What'd you say?
You are a complete self-absorbed neophyte.
Spice Girls.
Greatest band in the world is the band that plays behind Michael Jackson, because Michael Jackson was the greatest artist in the history of the world, and second place isn't even on the same radar.
Well, I listen to weird music called hardstyle, so it's more of like a DJ. Don't judge me.
I'm not judging, I agree with him.
I like, shoot, Headhunters. There we go.
And you?
Milwaukee High School.
It's not a band.
Yeah, they have band here.
Marching band. I don't know.
The Beatles. I love the Beatles.
Those were all good guesses, but actually, according to the Rolling Stones website, the greatest band in the world is the Beatles. Did you know how the Beatles came to be? Let's find out if anyone knows Milwaukee High School.
No.
Do you want to take a guess?
Sorry,
Love.
Love. All right, thanks, guys.
The Beatles came together, come together, right? Isn't that a Beatles song?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I think they were childhood friends. I think 3 of the 4 of them were childhood friends. Then they saw Ringo walking down the street one day and said, "Hey, you, Ringo, over here." And that's how they started.
I don't know. They were like, okay. They were all like, "Hey, we're mildly okay, but we found something new. Let's go for it." I don't know.
The real story of how the Beatles came together is that John Lennon had met Paul McCartney when they both performed in Skiffle's groups. Paul introduced John to George Harrison. John, Paul, and George, with an addition of a guitarist named Pete Best, set out to work in German clubs. Their luck changed when a young record store owner named Brian Epstein noticed the Beatles and thought they were something unique. The rest was history from there. The Beatles were from Great Britain, but when they came to America, they became an instant hit. Why were the Beatles so adored by people in America? Let's find out.
Well, I think it's very interesting because their first gig was in Hamburg, Germany.
I think that they had a really powerful music at a difficult time, and they didn't really care what people thought. They just wrote the music.
Interesting.
Like the Bug or like the band?
The band.
Just making sure.
They have good harmony.
They have cool hair.
Well, they had an interesting sound that I think people liked, and then when the craze hit Europe, then when they started traveling to the United States, then girls just went crazy. It was like Bieber fever, but Beatle fever.
Back in the 1960s, when the Beatles' music came to America, their music offered the real ray of sunshine since the assassination of President Kennedy and offered a distraction of the Cold War. Also, the Beatles' influence kept millions of American adolescents off the streets of trouble. And of course, the people adored their music. This group inspired not only a generation of musicians, they inspired people to say what's on their mind, speak truthfully, and look inside oneself, and most importantly, have a sense of humor about everything. The Beatles are more than music. They are a group of individuals who alone or together shape the world that we live in. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful night.